Hi, I'm Chad with Move For Guitar. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to break free of playing scale patterns in position by practicing the minor pentatonic scale up and down the fretboard with random fingerings. So when you first learn a scale, you typically learn a pattern in a position, and a pattern refers to the actual shape, the fingering that you play, and the position refers to where you are on the fretboard. So this lesson we're going to be in A minor pentatonic, and when you typically would learn A minor pentatonic, you would learn pattern 1, that's pattern 1, and it's in the 5th position in the key of A. So that just means that your first finger is in the 5th fret. That's referring to the place you are on the fretboard. That's what position refers to. But that pattern that I just played, that would stay the same no matter what key I was in. If I was in the key of G, it'd be the same pattern just down here in the 3rd position. So that's typically how you start learning a scale, and that's a good way to start because it allows you to memorize these in a sequence and get these shapes down in your mind and build muscle memory so that you don't have to even know what notes you're playing really, and you don't have to understand intervals, and you are able to build the muscle memory and easily play them up and down the fretboard once you learn all the different patterns. And that's one of the reasons why on guitar it's easy to get fairly advanced sounding without even memorizing the notes of your fretboard or understanding intervals or anything. You can go pretty far just by learning patterns and shapes, and that's really what a lot of stuff on guitar is based on. But that can be a huge hindrance once you really want to start advancing. It can be really hard to break free from playing in position. So if you're playing over an A minor 7 and you're playing A minor pentatonic to solo, you'd a lot of times are going to just grab a pattern in position. A lot of times you'll start with pattern 1. You know, you might connect the next pattern, and the problem you run into, it's hard to play fluidly up and down your whole fretboard and to visualize all the notes that fall into that scale. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to practice the minor pentatonic scale without relying on patterns or position. So the way we're going to do that, instead of starting with pattern 1 like you typically would when you're playing A minor pentatonic, you'd start with pattern 1 in the 5th position. Instead of doing that, we're going to start with the lowest note in the scale. And in the A minor pentatonic scale, the lowest note is E. So we'll start with the 6th string open. That's our lowest note we can play in this scale. So we're going to start with the lowest note, and we're going to play up to the highest note that we can reach in the scale. And on my guitar, that's a high D note, way up there. But it's going to be different on your guitar, especially if you're playing acoustic. You're not going to be able to reach that high. And what we're going to do, instead of visualizing these patterns or relying on patterns and positions, we're just going to play the notes in order. So we're going to play the A minor pentatonic scale in order, which A minor pentatonic is A, C, D, E, G, and then it repeats. But like I said, we're going to start on the lowest note, so we're going to start with E. So the next note would be G, then A, and C, and so on. And what we're going to do, we're going to play the scale in order, the notes in order, but we're not going to rely on any type of pattern. We're just going to play them randomly up, randomly back down, randomly up again, and keep doing that. So I'll just demonstrate and then explain what I was doing. and so on. I would just keep doing that. And all I was doing is I was playing the notes in order, starting with the lowest note I can reach in the scale, which is E, like I mentioned, and just randomly playing them. I wasn't thinking, oh, going to use this pattern and play up, and then I'm going to connect the next pattern. I was just thinking of the notes in the scale, and what you can do is actually say the notes of the scale. So E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, and so on. You would just say the notes in order as you're playing them, but all you're thinking about is how I can go from as low as I can reach to as high as I can reach, playing those notes in order, not worried about any type of pattern. I'm just randomly play them up, and then on my way back down I played a different way. So instead of playing it back down the exact way I played it up, I just change it up. And I just do that over and over, as many different ways as I can, not worried about, like I said, patterns and positions. And you can repeat it down and up sometimes. That's not crucial to do it different every single time, but you're just not thinking so much about where these patterns fall. You're just thinking about where the notes of the scale are on the fretboard. And another big benefit of doing this is you're going to really memorize the notes that are on your fretboard. You're going to really be able to start quickly being able to see where each note on your fretboard is if you play this in different keys. So do it in A, you're going to really nail down where all the notes of A minor pentatonic are on your fretboard, and then you change to another key, you're going to really nail down those if you do it over and over again. So not only are you able to play the pattern up and down smoothly, you're also going to start memorizing where all the notes are. And to start off, just do it really slowly. Do it as slowly as you have to. Don't try to do it fast. That's not the point. It's not the point to build muscle memory and just do it really fast without thinking. You want to start by really thinking about it and really thinking where all the notes are. So you just go E, G, A, C, and just do that up and down the fretboard as slow as you need to until you can think quicker and do it quicker. But still, the goal of this is not to do it really fast. It's to be able to visualize this scale up and down the fretboard and visualize where all the notes are. And then if you want to take it another step further, you would actually, instead of just saying the note names, you would say the intervals. So in A minor pentatonic, the intervals, and this is for any minor pentatonic, the intervals are root, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and then it just repeats. And your 4 is the same as an 11, but you can just call it a 4. So instead of saying E, G, A, and so on, E is the 5 of A, so you'd say 5, flat 7, root, flat 3, 4, and so on. And so then you're really going to take it to the next level, understanding where all the intervals are compared to the root. And that's going to really help you as you're advancing in guitar, getting into advanced chords, scales. You're just going to really unlock a lot of possibilities in your playing. And then one more step, instead of just playing it from the lowest note to the highest note, the next thing I would do is start with the lowest note, and then instead of going all the way to the highest note, just reverse, go back down and back up at random points. So it'd be something like this. And so on. You would just go up randomly and back down randomly at different points and still get as high as you can at different points, but don't worry about starting with the lowest note, going to the highest note and back down. You just go up, back down, just randomly, and that's really going to nail this down for you and help you visualize this pattern without thinking of, and help you visualize this scale without thinking of patterns or positions. And then the next thing I would do after you've played that and feel fairly comfortable with it, and just start in the key of A because it's an easy key to start with, or you can start with the key of E or just a simple key, it doesn't matter. Do it in one key over and over until you're really comfortable before you move to another key. But also before you move to another key, take a jam track. So if you're in the key of A, just take an A minor 7 or an A7 even jam track and start playing this up and down the fretboard over the jam track. Just play it up and down, randomly switching order, and then eventually break free from playing the scale in order and start playing the notes with bigger leaps, just thinking up and down the fretboard. And then eventually, the more you do that over and over, you're going to start coming up with cool lines and licks that are forming just by randomly playing the notes up and down the fretboard, not thinking of patterns or positions, and you're really going to open up your sound and make some really creative music. And watch out for other lessons where I'll dive deeper into this subject and show you some more tips and tricks on what you can do to really expand this. But this is a really good place to start, so work on this. It's going to really open up your playing. And be sure to subscribe because we add at least one new lesson every day.